So this is a problem from section 6.6. It's not on practice C, but it's to illustrate several of the concepts that you're going to need to know. So I'm trying to solve an equation here that has radicals in it. And the most important thing is to get a radical sign isolated by itself. I prefer on the left-hand side of the equation. The problem here is that I have a radical there, and I have another radical there. And I don't want them both on the same side. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to first start by isolating one radical on one side of the equation. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So now I have radical x minus 8 is equal to radical x plus 2 minus 4. So at least I've got a radical isolated by itself on one side. And I know when I have a radical isolated by itself on one side, and I want to get rid of that radical so I can free up the x, what I'm going to do is I'm going to square both sides of the equation. Now squaring the left-hand side is very nice because I have the square root and I'm squaring it, so all I'm going to have left on the left-hand side is x minus 8. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to have a mess. But at least it'll be a controllable mess. I'm going to have the square root of x plus 2 minus 4 times the square root of x plus 2 minus 4. I have x plus 2 minus 4 squared. So let's work on that a little bit. I'm going to FOIL it out. Well, x plus 2 times the square root of x plus 2 times the square root of x plus 2 is equal to x plus 2. Well, that's nice. So I took care of that one. Now I'm going to take care of my outer. So I have minus 4 times the square root of x plus 2. And I'm going to take care of my inner, which is again minus 4 times my square root of x plus 2. And then I'll take care of my last, which is minus plus 16. You'll note, just as an aside right here, that what I had was not that. Oops, wait a minute, go away. Why is this doing that? Well, I'll just write it down here. But what I had was, I had a minus b squared, and we know that that equals a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. That's what we ended up with right there. But ignoring that for a moment, so let's just continue on here. So I would have this is equal to x, and then I have my 2 and my 16, so that goes plus 18, and this would be minus 8 square root of x plus 2. And that's still over here equal to x minus 8. Well, we're getting a little bit closer, I think. Maybe you can kind of see it shaping up. What I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to subtract x from both sides. And I think I'll subtract 18 from both sides. So these x's are going to cancel out. And this is going to be negative 26. And that's going to equal negative 8 square root of x plus 2. Well, now I only have one radical that I'm dealing with. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to divide by negative 8. And I get 26 divided by 8 is 13 fourths, and that equals the square root of x plus 2. is right back in here. It's seeing that I have radicals on both sides of my equation and basically trying to get one radical isolated first, squaring both sides, having a little bit of a mess right in here, but then once I do out this multiplication, I'm going to end up with just one radical on one side, and then it becomes a fairly easy process to solve it. Well, a 13/4 equals the square root of x plus 2. Now I have a really very simple problem, because all I need to do now is square both sides. And I get x plus 2 equals, well, what's 13/4 squared? 13 squared is 169. 169 over 16. I'm going to write it with my x on the left-hand side. X plus 2 equals 169 over 16. I'll subtract 2 from both sides. I get x equals 169, sorry for the sloppiness, over 16 minus, well, 2 is 32 sixteenths, so that is equal to 137 sixteenths. And then I would go back and check my answer to make sure that it is not to make sure that it's correct. But the key to this